I guess we should tell everybody. Welcome to Fuck Dick and Bert, foul play-by-play production. And it's brought to you by Tito's Vodka. Because I love it. Camel cigarettes and Copenhagen Long Cut, because that's how we do. All right. Well,
we're gonna get fined for that.
Let's get to the most important subject in the news today. Can the Minnesota Twins compete / win the division next year? Brad, go. Or don't go. Mike, go.
I don't think so.
I don't think where they stand right now, I don't think they have a chance. I think we finished probably third in the division. Where we're at right now, I like the signing by the Guardians that they picked up Josh Bell. They won the division last year. They've improved. They do a lot better with their young players than the Twins ever do. Our projected lineup, if we just started today, we'd have Luis Arraez leading off, playing first base, which we can discuss that later. Byron Buxton in center, Polanco at short, Kepler right field, Miranda third base, Gordon second base, Larnach left field, Kirilloff's the DH, and then Jeffers. That lineup should not scare anybody. And
it doesn't scare me at all.
And we don't have the pitching to back up a lineup with no pop.
Not even close.
So that's, yeah, I don't think where we're at right now would do any better than last year. We'd probably do worse than last year, since we're going to have to play a lot more teams outside of our division next year.
I don't know if we do worse. You're right. The schedule gets tougher because we don't get to play as many AL Central teams, but our pitching will be better. Like Kenta Maeda returns. We got Melee for an entire season. Those are pretty good. I mean, they're not aces, but they're people who can win games against number 2s and number 3s in Major League Baseball. So
I'll let Brad jump in, but I guess I would agree with that, even though I hate that excuse all the time. But we did get bit in the ass by the injury bug pretty hard last year. So, I mean, it will be nice to see Maeda for a full year.
Joe Ryan was your opening day starter last year. I mean, that is never a recipe for success. I mean, and he was good, but he's not the guy you want to be going up against every number one the rest of the year. That is just asking yourself to lose 15 to 20 games.
It's classic Twins, though. It's just like Pavano.
It is.
Going out into the fucking playoffs.
It's so tiring. This is exactly why I do not follow this team. I have no interest in this team whatsoever.
Our fucking topic. I don't. We need Brad.
They needed to get Shohei Ohtani. That would have been something that would have moved the needle. I don't think there is anything that moves the needle right now. This is the big topic, right? Are we going to get Carlos Correa? Who gives a shit if we get Carlos Correa? It didn't do shit last year. They got they finally signed the big free agent, and they ended up 20th in attendance, despite being, more competitive than the Rockies, who ended up 9th. It's just, there's a fickle fan base out here, a fair weather fan base out here. You got to play it 15 games, almost a 10th of your schedule during a month where nobody's going to show up. And we played a season where we've been out of it by the time we got out of April.
The thing is do you know how fun it would be to go to a game in Colorado on shrooms? That's why they're attending.
Any psychedelic. Yeah, and you could find them easy too. I mean, I know people down. I used to buy acid down there, actually. Should get in touch with those guys if I got their number still.
I'm sick of blaming the fan base, though. What I just read off,
that's the truth, though, Mike.
Why would you pay your fucking money to go watch what I just read off?
I haven't. I paid to see them in Los Angeles and Anaheim, and I got to see them 2 games for free at Target Field, and I saw the Saints as much as I saw the Twins last year, and I actually paid to see the Saints games. This is exactly why I think the Falvine regime is coming to an end. They had to sign Carlos Correa just to, do well enough revenue wise and increase the gate enough to keep their jobs, basically.
but that's my thing is, and I know we'll talk about it later, like the Padres, but I would love being like a Mets fan, a Padres fan, where it's just you've got owners who are like, you know what, we want to win now. Maybe it's not smart for the long term of the team, but who gives a shit?
Well, you can't change your owner. That's the thing. It's like, some of them treat them like toys and some of them treat them like businesses. And the Pullets have historically treated this like a business. And
to have Buxton, who we locked up on a very team-friendly deal, he's our biggest contract at $15 million a year.
Off his best season.
Pair him with another superstar. Even if we have a losing team, if we had freaking Aaron Judge in the outfield, I'd go watch him all the time because you're watching the best.
If they had my guy in the outfield and starting on a regular basis, Shohei Ohtani, I would be there. I would be a season ticket holder. Like that would be something but there's really that's the only guy. Like Aaron Judge wouldn't move the needle for me either because baseball's just too damn boring. I'd rather watch professional wrestling.
I would, but that's a topic for a different.
Yeah, we only got 40 minutes and we can't have that argument.
Bottom line is you got to quit stacking these superstars like they sort of do. They need to get a superstar pitcher. Bottom line, that's it.
Yeah, Johan Santana were the great days of the Minnesota Twins that I remember. And
to finish this off, though, it's like every year, and it's starting to get old now. We're excited about our prospects coming up and finally going to make it. They do okay, or they do really good, and then they get hurt, and then the season's over.
Yeah.
Like, that's the Twins for, the last 20, 30 years?
Well, they haven't hit on – actually, they really haven't hit on a starting pitching draft pick in a really long time. Like, you remember both Joe Nathan and Johan Santana were drafted by other teams. Like, I think Johan was a Rule 5 pick, and Joe Nathan was a trade with the Giants, who was playing shortstop at the fucking time. So, I mean...
Liriano's the same way, right?
What's that?
Liriano was the same way, right?
I don't remember. I don't think we drafted Liriano, but... somebody would have to look that up.
The only one I saw that we would be in our recent memory was Glenn Perkins. We drafted him, brought him to the system,
but he was a failed starter. Ended up a great closer. Like,
and he'll go down as one of my favorite pitchers of all time. But that kind of leads into then with the team. I think Brad just said it though. With these prospects, my thing is if you look at our lineup, it's going to be riddled with people who have just made it. You're not going to make it to the playoffs if the majority of your positional players are guys on their first full true year of MLB.
Well, I mean, remember the last best year we ever had, 2002, 2001, actually the year before they actually made the playoffs. That team, what brought us all hope. That's the reason why we probably, didn't lose our minds and didn't give up baseball. Was Torrey Hunter, Christian Guzman, Castillo. I mean, these
left field
guys,
umpire fucked us that year.
I agree. I agree. We could have won a game in New York.
No, I'm glad they locked up Buxton, but that's even look at their old. And I mean, I understand that was a different regime back then, but it's the other thing that Twins fans have had to endure is take Torrey Hunter. Like pay people. Like it's my other thing. Like when they come through.
Let's get to our next topic. Do we or do we not take Correa? Do we settle for Swanson? I'll just throw my thing out there. I think you overpay for a similar deal that you got Correa for last year, where he can get out of it quickly, and you have a stopgap to get you to Royce Lewis. And if Royce Lewis doesn't pan out, you still have, him to fall back on. Maybe you're able to sign him again in free agency. That's the thing. You're going to have to. It's the same thing with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Do you think anybody wants to come out here and play basketball in the wintertime? Nobody. Yeah, you think Puerto Ricans want to come out here and play baseball in April? No, none of them do.
No, but
none of them. That's why we should be playing our home games in April in Puerto Rico. Like we would actually, that if we wanted to compete with San Diego revenue wise, that's what you would do, because you're not going to get anybody to come out to a ballpark out here in April.
Tony, you made a good point, like about the Timberwolves, nobody wanting to come and play here, but they did something that the Twins don't do. They went all in.
They did.
They're fucked for the next.
And now they're fucked. Now they're truly fucked because they've got Karl Anthony Towns injured and not tradable, you know.
But let's see how the season pans out. You never know. It's a long season, but they went all in. The Twins need to go all in, and it's just money that they got to pay.
I agree. I just saw their projected payrolls under 100 million. And I was like, what?
Yeah, we're sitting at 90.
You can spend 220 plus million dollars without paying luxury tax. Why the hell are we spending less than 100? And it tells me that they just don't have enough people showing up to the games.
You guys obviously know this more than me, but why can't is it more or less a pitcher thing? Why they want the guaranteed like years? Why not do kind of like what we did with Correa and be like,
we'll give you 40 million for 1 year and you can opt out.
We'll give you $60 million a year, $180 million for 3 years, and you can opt out after 1 year.
Right.
Well, he's not going to do that.
Nobody would opt out of that contract, I don't think. But I mean, I get your point. No, that's exactly what the route they're going to have to take.
Well, no, and I was racking my brain since we're so low on payroll right now. Okay, you know that with Turner's contract, you know that Correa is going to want that or maybe a little more. So if he wants a 10-year contract, why not just front load the shit out of it? 50 million the first year.
Because you got so much cap space, yeah.
Drop to 40, drop to 35, and then a significant drop where once he starts tallying off in talent, where it's not burdening your team, but you'd still have a great leader in the dugout. But I think they need more than Correa is my thing. I would rather
do. They absolutely do.
I would like
give him a Bobby Bonilla contract. Pay him after he's retired.
$1 million every year for 30 years. Yeah, that sounds actually like a pretty good idea.
No, I would like to see. I think you could fill that park up if you gave the fans Correa and Rodon.
I don't know if even that would be enough.
I don't think that's enough.
What more can you do though?
This team, that would be reaching for the fucking stars, frankly, if they were to swing something like that. But yeah, I just don't see it. Actually, that's the thing is when they traded for Melee and not Castillo last year, I felt like they did the thing I wanted them to do. Because I would have preferred, Melee was having the better year. And then Castillo goes to Seattle and absolutely lights it up. And just like, I knew that guy was going to be really good for a long time. For 3 years, I've been wanting to trade for that guy. And in fantasy, and in fucking the video game, we did it every single goddamn time. And it always worked out okay.
But I mean, we're in this weird predicament where, like, I'll give him credit for building up. I will say a strong rotation. I'm not going to say a great rotation.
It's deep. We've got depth. We can afford to lose a few starting pitchers.
So that's my thing is either we go all in then with this, or if we just sit around, we're not going to have it's not like they're going to pay these guys. So it's like, we need to either make a choice. We try to win within the next 2 to 3 years, or actually do a rebuild. And
I wonder if they're doing the math on whether we can win in the next 2 to 3 years because of the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Padres. I mean, do they feel like there's no way we can compete? That's the thing, though. The MLB playoffs aren't rewarding the best team necessarily. It's the hottest team. It's always the hottest team.
No, it's not about wins anymore. It's just about getting in.
But you look at it. Cleveland's the exception last year. All the teams in the championship series were the top 5 paid teams.
Yeah, but think about the years before that. We had Tampa Bay, the lowest payroll in baseball, taking on one of the highest. And I mean, that wasn't that long ago. That shit still happens, and it can still happen. Yeah, but I don't think that's what we should be aspiring to.
No, we can't be Tampa Bay.
No.
The reality is we don't have the development. Look at our pitchers.
Nope. They have been drafting pitchers like crazy. They are fantastic. I think they do baseball better than anybody ever did baseball in the history of the shift. Like, they will go down as the greatest team in the history of baseball in the shift era. And now that the shift is gone, I don't even know what to expect from them anymore.
And I don't want to live in a world where we don't have Royce Lewis on our team.
I don't either.
If we sign Correa, I'm sorry. we have to trade some of our young guys.
Well, that would be the number one guy. I would rather lose him than Luis Arraez, frankly. I mean, and that's the thing is he's not going to get you what Luis can because he's hurt and he's coming off of multiple injuries and he's had a 2-week stretch in the majors that was really good.
So why not try to trade Kepler?
Oh yeah, obviously.
Him
like
with
3 years ago.
Stuff. Will Myers is out there that you could sign for a decent deal.
Like Will Myers,
which he would do the same thing. Try to play Kepler off as a center fielder or whatnot. Like,
you need a right-handed bat, though. That's my thing.
I think I get too dragged down in the weeds on who and what's going to get us there. I want to talk about this TV deal.
Before you go into that real quick, you just said it. We should have traded Kepler 3 years ago when he was at his peak. Why not do the same thing with Luis Arraez, who I doubt is going to want to stay here when he becomes a free agent?
Because Luis Arraez is going to win multiple batting titles. Like his bat-to-ball skills are that fantastic.
That's my thing. It's going to take.
Kepler never showed any actual exceptional skill. Like he was just always going to be a gap-to-gap hitter and an okay fielder.
You won't get much for Arraez, in my opinion, anyway.
No, he's not worth trading. He's too valuable given that he has 3 years of control and you're going to pay him $5 million to play every day and be the best hitter in the American League. Like, no, you don't trade that. Maybe you do a year and a half from now, but
yeah, but then
I don't think you get anything. You don't get anything for him. It
doesn't turn into enough. You would be better off trading one of your best prospects than Luis Arraez. You really would, especially if it was one of your top pitching prospects.
I think we could pair with a small market team like the Marlins or something who need bats in their lineup and they have an abundance of pitching. And I don't know. I'm an advocate for trading him.
Yeah, but a team like that would rather want somebody with some pop and some stuff like that than just getting a guy that can hit 340.
Yeah.
No, teams like that are looking for team control. They want to
low contracts. Yeah,
exactly. I don't move on to the next topic. I would totally move.
I don't even know where we are on the agenda here. We're through trades. Agree, disagree with resigning Pagan. I think we can all agree to disagree there. I disagree with deciding.
I disagree.
Okay. Mike?
What the fuck are they waiting for? Like, what kind of a sample size do you need to give the guy? I'll give the guy credit. He's got awesome stuff. But Christ, if you're going to throw a fastball down the middle of the fucking plate.
Yeah.
He's on a 3-year fucking hiatus. He's been garbage.
I won't miss him. Should we have taken someone in the Rule 5 draft? I think no, because you got to keep that person on your roster, 40-man roster for the entire season, which is really hard to do. So, I mean, it's always a risk to take someone in the Rule 5 draft, frankly. Although, I think every once in a while you end up with Johan Santana, or...
I disagree. I disagree slightly. And I don't have his name in front of me. The Yankees had
the catchers.
One of them was 25. He's in AAA. That's the one I would have taken. We don't have to pay anybody. We got 2 catchers then.
What were his splits? Was he good against what was it? We're looking for someone to hit lefties or righties.
Actually, well, if you actually look at Jeffers, though, he actually hits righties all right. He doesn't hit lefties that good. So
you need somebody to hit lefties.
Okay, as far as names and stuff, you guys know names better. Is there a catcher like Arraez or something, or he's a free agent?
Vasquez, the one that they offered?
Nope. It's his name starts with an N, I'm pretty sure.
Well, Wilson Contreras isn't going to end up here. I can tell you
Navarro that. Or there's some.
Oh, that sounds familiar.
I read an article about them signing him that he would be okay. He's a younger guy.
I mean, it's
fit in good with Jeffers, but
your catcher isn't going to be the make or break. Diana Navarro, the Indians released him. That is.
Yeah. And yeah, or unless you wanted to, I know that.
That was 2 years ago. Jesus.
I'd hate being an A's fan, but I wouldn't mind trading for Murphy. You still have 3 years of control on him, and you got a bat in your lineup too. And
I think actually Vasquez is what they ought to do. Just sign Vasquez. Get that out of the way. Is the future bright? No. We've got a lot of prospects who are going to be like everyday players, but not superstars.
No, that's where.
Unless Royce Lewis turns into what we all think he's going to be.
Well, no, I know, but we're on this weird time
And none
frame.
of
Like where you've got Buxton in his prime. So my thing is either we try to supplement our roster now and win now, or go through a complete rebuild then. Like
sell the farm.
Sell Buxton, sell our fucking pitching, and let frickin' Austin Martin come up. He'll struggle. Let all these young guys come up and struggle, but then
yeah. Those are my favorite years of Twins baseball, by the way, is when we became the AAA team where everybody beat up on us and they were all they had no business being the bigs until they did.
Yeah, it's actually not a bad idea. Buxton gets off to a hot start for the first 3 months. Get rid of him before he gets hurt.
I mean,
his
contract actually is pretty team friendly,
it
considering
is.
how good he is when he's on the field.
And that's the sad thing. The last 2 years, his combined batting average, if you put it into a single season, he's batting like 320, 54 home runs.
He's incredible. I mean, he's the best player in Major League Baseball if he plays a full season. That's how good he is. Just defensively, he's so good defensively. He didn't even have to hit that well to be one of the best players in Major League Baseball, and now he can hit really well. Yeah. So, no, I mean, we've got the guy. We've got Kirby Puckett again. We just don't have even Brad Radke. Apparently, we don't even have Brad Radke.
No, I don't know. Like I thought if you move Buxton, which he obviously would get the biggest return on him.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm trying to think of teams to pair him with, but I'm like, if we took some garbage players back from the Yankees, Donaldson, Hicks, took them back so they don't have to play, but we get like Volpe, Dominguez for Buxton. Let the Yankees get a World Series under their belt, and then we would have maybe 3 years down the road, we could have one of the best teams in baseball.
And Royce Lewis could move to center field.
I want to see him at short. Put him in center field, and he fucking killed himself out there.
Yep, he'd be dead. He'd be dead in 2 years. Okay, let's see. Is the future bright? I guess we can all agree that not as of now, it's not. We do have a lot of assets to trade, and I'm just wondering when this Falvine regime is going to start taking advantage of that.
I mean, that's the bottom line. We're mediocre, like at best. We have the potential, but we're mediocre. This
is the problem though, and this is if you look at any Twins forum, people quibble about this stuff too. Though it's we can't trade this guy, we can't trade this guy. Where it's like,
why not?
It's somebody.
They did trade Steele at the height of his, and that was the thing is like he was a guy out of nowhere, and they're like, oh wow, this guy turned out to be pretty good. Let's turn him for the best closer in the business at the moment, and then the closer turned into a goddamn pumpkin as soon as he arrived.
No, so that's my thing.
Another Puerto Rican playing in fucking Minnesota at the end of the season when it's cold. I mean, I say more?
We got a log jam in the outfield. We got so much corner depth right now. Our infield for our prospects coming up: Brooks Lee, Royce Lewis, Austin Martin.
Yeah, you got to move at least one of those guys probably this offseason.
Or you could move the ones that are going to piss off the fans, like Miranda.
You can't touch him. He's the one untouchable in my book. I think.
I disagree. I don't like his defense, but
no, he asserted himself last year. Like he was the guy to watch on the team. Besides Arraez, to me, like Arraez isn't exactly untouchable to me because I know that his pop's going to be limited for the entirety of his career. That's not the case for Miranda.
So hypothetically, let's say this: Royce Lewis doesn't get hurt last year. They platoon him around.
We win the division.
Okay, fair enough. But we platoon him around. How does that affect Correa? In all seriousness, Correa is going to sign back with the Twins. I almost guarantee it.
The Giants will get him. The Giants.
Lewis,
the Giants probably need him more.
Would end up being at shortstop. So what do you do with these other prospects? Like you got to move. I don't get why you have 87 of the same
Oh, that's-
prospects. I mean,
They've
That's
got a lot of utility infielders, don't they?
No, that's exactly what I was saying, though. So then who loses out? If we keep Miranda and Kirilloff, they could play first base, essentially, in DH.
Right. Luis is the odd man out.
Unless we got rid of Polanco and Kepler.
Well, no, you got to get rid of Kepler. Polanco's contract's just too juicy and too great, too team friendly.
People need places to play. Like Lewis is either going to need, in my opinion, Royce Lewis is either going to need to play second base or third base. I prefer him at third.
No. Yeah, second base. No, Luis has got to play first. In my opinion, Luis is your DH. Luis is your DH and your first baseman on occasion. And then he's not good enough at any position defensively to really stick him out there on a regular basis. But he is the best hitter in the American League. So you put him as DH and he doesn't cost you any runs on defense ever. And then you let him play first base and spare a guy every once in a while because first basemen get hurt all the time because they're big, people who, pull groins and shit.
It's just weird having a first baseman who doesn't have the size.
It's awesome. I love it. I think he's my favorite first baseman. Did I not say we need to, we got 10 minutes left. Did I not say at the beginning of last year that Luis Arraez needs to be our everyday first baseman? I'm pretty sure I told you guys that. And then that's what happened. And he turned out to be a pretty good first baseman. Pretty good. Not bad. All right, let's talk about this TV deal. Let's get to that. This is really what's been the problem for the Twins, in my opinion. I thought it was gate, and that doesn't seem to be the case. And it doesn't seem to be television viewership either, because they're not, they're comparable to San Diego in terms of the television market. The problem is they've got the fourth worst TV deal in baseball. I think they get $43 million a year off of it, according to Fangraphs. But it's coming to an end after this season, right?
Yes, this is their 12th and final year.
But that's not even really the big problem. The big problem is they're one of the teams towards the bottom of this list that doesn't have any ownership of their broadcast partner. And that's what makes the Yankees is Yes Network.
Exactly.
And that's what makes the Dodgers, and what makes the Red Sox, NESN. Like, all of the revenue that you receive from the ownership of that broadcast partner is not subject to revenue sharing. So that can go straight into whatever you want it to go into. It's not subjected to, sharing with every other team. Whereas the entirety of the money the Twins make off of now Bally Sports North, which is going bankrupt, by the way, is subject to revenue sharing. So they really need to do something amazing with this new television deal. And it's really hard to do because they have such a crappy market to work with.
Well, see, and that's a good point. And that's Carl Polhan being one of the richest people. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I think he is the richest owner in baseball.
Might be.
It must not be that good of a business deal to do your own TV thing. Because wouldn't you think with that type of money, that's how rich people work? It
would be if you were in Los Angeles or Boston or New York, but not Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota. Yeah.
This is again, we're venturing into territory where we're basing it off of what this team has done over the past 12 years. So my thing, you live in Minnesota. I assume it gets frustrating.
A mile from the stadium. Oh, yeah. You're fucking telling
watch
me.
The game on TV.
To the point that I don't even pay attention to them anymore. That's how frustrating it is.
No, my thing is similar market to the Padres. Their TV deal, I think they're getting 70 to 80 million a year as opposed to 40.
I can tell you.
They're getting.
It's not really much more than the Twins. They get 46 million, but it's $1 billion over 20 years, and they own 20% of the broadcast partner. So 20% of the revenues from whoever puts their games on, they get, which is a lot of money. They don't have to. It isn't subject to revenue sharing.
I agree. My thing is instead of blaming the fans, spend money, put a product on the field, and then actually see if it is the fans. Get close to 100 to 180 to $200 million payroll where you've got superstars on the field, competitive games all the time. And then if people still don't tune in, whatever, go back to sitting on our hands,
AAA team out there
doing nothing, pretending like the Twins don't make the Polands money, which I'm sorry, I was reading something on Twins Daily, somebody posted. When they built Target Field, they're not only getting TV revenue now, they're concession revenue from Target Field. They didn't get that from the Metrodome. So they're getting new streams of revenue. It's you gotta put a product on the field. I guarantee people are watching San Diego because
they got 4 superstars.
Yeah.
4. Juan Soto, Machado, Tatis, and I don't know, anyone to pick a pitcher. But yeah, you're right. I mean, that would get it done. When almost half of your starting lineup is superstars, yes, people will show up. Especially when it's 70 degrees and sunny every day. I mean, yeah, they're going to show up. But I mean, it's as simple as this. The teams that are at the top of this list, the Angels are second on this list with $138 million a year from television broadcasts.
Who do they have though? They have arguably two of the most known superstars.
The White Sox make $120 million a year off their television deal. That is 3 times the amount we make off of ours. And they own 25% of the broadcast partner. That's the thing. All these teams at the top of this list own at least a piece of the broadcast partner, which means they're making money off the broadcast partner, which they can just pocket. They can pocket it. They can put it straight towards a player, a really expensive player, mind you. Like when you get $20 million just from, you're going to make the money from, broadcasting your games regardless. But this is free money. They just need to make sure they negotiate a deal where they own whoever is broadcasting the game.
Just regardless of it, let's just all agree that they're never going to get a huge TV deal. The Twins market is not that big as opposed to, say, like the Vikings. The Vikings could probably, if the NFL did your own TV deals, the Vikings would probably have a pretty decent one because their fan base is pretty huge.
Well, that's because there's fewer games and there's fewer television opportunities. So whenever they're
Minnesota
on Fox,
Twins,
people
I don't think they're that popular. Besides,
they're not.
The Midwest, Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota. Other than that,
so I wonder, and I don't know anything about this, so I might sound like an idiot, but instead of attaching it to like television broadcasting, like we think of like cable packages, which are going to be a thing of the past, like I wonder if there can be some kind of like online thing where I guarantee all 3 of us, if we only had to pay like fucking $10 a month and all we got was Twins games, I would pay that.
I'm paying $20 for Bally Sports North right now for basically all of the games that are on Bally Sports, the channel. So you can do that starting next year. And I mean, I wouldn't do it for baseball because the fucking game is boring as hell, but I mean,
it's good background noise.
No, and that's the other thing that
2:30 left.
How much?
2 minutes, 30 seconds.
Well, no, and I think that would be a good discussion sometime too, is the actual interest level of the game. Because I want to know but one 40-year-old Twins fan posted on a blog where he's like, it's just weird with my kids now. Like, I remember being young. I would watch baseball, played baseball, loved baseball. Like what has changed?
Like people's attention spans.
I disagree. I don't think when we were younger we sat down and watched baseball. Like I can guarantee, and baseball is my favorite sport.
I really don't remember doing so either.
I can remember
until I was in high school.
Did we not buy baseball cards and crap like that though? Like
sure.
Yes. But the only time I can honestly remember watching, and I don't know why I was a Twins fan, but I did. I watched the 91 World Series upstairs at my house with my parents. Like, I remember that. I remember the 87 World Series, even though I was 6. Like, other than that, like, I never tuned into a baseball game.
Yeah.
The most baseball that I ever watched growing up as a kid was a Little League World Series. Because they were me.
I don't know. I still think it's the best sport.
I think you're crazy, but I am interested to see what these new rule changes bring. I mean, marginal increase in stolen bases. I'm most intrigued by the you can only disengage the rubber twice during a plate appearance, which is awesome because as soon as you step off the second time, that guy's going to be running. Because the best catcher in baseball only throws out about a third of base runners now.
It'd be a lot. Stolen bases are going to rise again like they were in the 80s.
But that assumes people are going to be on base, which just isn't the case. I think it really, none of this ends until you lower the mound. And frankly, I would lower it entirely. And I would just, because fast pitch softball is coming, boys, and they're going to want to play on that field. Anyways, it's the last minute we got. So final thoughts.
My final thought is, while it would justify that baseball is still the best game, you can't run out the clock in baseball. Every team gets the same exact chance as the other team. Can't run it out like you can in freaking football, basketball. I still think it's the most.
I do appreciate that.
My final thought: fighting bobcats by